Very nice. This is your new generation. This is the new generation. This wasn't during our time. This is the new India.
Ma'am, shall we begin, ma'am?
Yeah, begin. Go ahead.
Yeah.
They have a national anthem. Let them do it as they want. Okay. As they want. Go ahead.
Vanakkam. Let's start the session with the national anthem.
Okay. Okay, gentlemen.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
So Asha was missing all the national anthems. You got them back. Were you? Every day?
When we put the national anthem, it gives a kind of
No, every day Rajdev asked,
Yes.
what were you doing? You got them back. You got them back by virtual now. Okay, carry on.
Yes, ma'am. Namaste and pranams to one and all. It's indeed a great honor to have you today with us, ma'am. We are really excited to converse with you. Now, let's watch Madam's life journey through a video visual.
Ma'am, it's indeed a big honor to have you amidst us on this special day, the birthday of our eminent Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam sir. This evening, Prashanti, myself, along with the students from various colleges, going to be having a conversation with Dr. Kiran Bedi, ma'am. Ma'am, I would like to start the session with the first question from my end, ma'am. Today, we are facing challenges from all parts of the society that may pull us down, and it could become a hurdle for us from achieving our goal. Ma'am, could you please motivate us and probably give an incident from your life that will help us rise above problems?
So is this your first question?
Yes, ma'am.
Does one need to discover them? Is this your question which you sent me?
Yes, ma'am. We have rearranged the order and again sent it, ma'am. And her first question, ma'am, can you please once again ask Sangeeta?
Ma'am. Today we are facing challenges from all parts of the society that may pull us down from achieving what we want to achieve in life. Could you please narrate an incident from your life that could motivate us to rise above our problems?
Oh, it's been a lifetime. It's been a lifetime of daily rising above. Because who told us life is flat?
Yes, ma'am.
Life is not flat. Life is not linear. It has its hills. It has its own valleys. It has its own peaks. Also has a flat road. But you never know. On the contrary, if it's going too flat, better be careful. When is the valley coming or the peak coming? Did anybody know about COVID? One did not know. So my life has been full of these valleys, these peaks, these flat highways and roads. And I think the message should be very clearly that do not take anything for granted.
Yes.
And that is why I've written it all in my book called I Dare. And I Dare is from one chapter to the other, which talks about one challenge to the other. So I think one should get out of this feeling that there's one challenge, and one challenge which you remember. You only remember what was just done recently. You cannot go back, but that's why you write a book and you document it. But yes, there are some memories which turn out to be very bitter, and some of them are very memorable. That's why there's a documentation. But if I narrate you one incident, then I probably exclude many others. Even if it goes as recent as Lieutenant Governor Puducherry, every day is a new decision making. Even today, there's a newspaper report by an honorable minister here who's making false allegations. What do you do? So I remember now only today, let's say, yes, he made false allegations. So question now is you decide, how do you counter it? Or do you just read it? Or do you have something to do with it? And how much time do you want to pay attention to it? These are all choices you make on a daily basis. There's no one recipe. It's your response to a challenge which is not very palatable to you. But then you let it go or you deal with it. I may decide, if my instinct tells me to counter it, I will. But this is one lie which he is writing, which has been countered many times earlier. But he's only repeating it to probably come for whatever reason in the media. So what do I remind you of? Do I remind you of my prison days? Do I remind you of my police days? Do I remind you of my the police headquarters days? There are many. So what all I'm saying is, I would briefly tell you that life is a string of valleys and peaks and flat roads and ditches and pits. So just take it as it comes and deal with it with reasonable sense of balance. That to me has to be. On the contrary, what should be remembered is what balance, how did you deal with the peak? How did you deal with the valley? How do you deal with the ditch? And that you're proud of it. Like today, it happened in the morning, I read it, I turned the page and moved on to other news because I felt it did not need any more attention. So this is what I can right now think of something for you, what I read and happened this morning.
Great, ma'am. To deal with the valleys and peaks and the roads, great insight, ma'am. Thank you. We will cherish it and we will take it forward in our life. We now have Ms. Ritu from Rajalakshmi Group of Institutions to ask her question. Ritu?
Namaste, ma'am. Before I ask my question, I would just like to say I'm really honored and humbled to meet a mega icon like yourself. And by extension, I would like to thank the ALBE Academy for enabling this exchange. So my question to you, ma'am, is we always have the power to choose how to deal with situations. You could either respond to it or you could react to it. Now, my question is, how can one keep their emotions in check while preparing to say yes to one thing and no to the other thing? Also, if you could highlight one incident from your life which could help us understand the power of decision making, that would be really helpful, ma'am.
Look, you are in the Academy of Life Skills. And here are the core life skills which every age group of yours need to focus on. And your answers lie in your understanding and training your life skills. Now, when I read these life skills, I realize when did I start learning about them. That first of all, let me give you quickly, because your answer is going to be lying within these life skills. And this is what has been given by the UNICEF, the UNESCO, and the WHO. It says the 10 core life skills, strategies, and techniques are: number one, problem solving; secondly, critical thinking; third, effective communication; then skills and decision making; creative thinking; interpersonal relationship skills; self-awareness building skills; empathy; and coping with stress and emotions. And it also says that behavior will not change. Skills, life skills, in short, it says life skills empower young people to take positive action to protect themselves and promote health and positive social relationships. And it also says that by reading a book, attitudes will not change. It is by experiencing life that you impact it. That is why such like programs put you into decision-making workshop. They put you into intercommunication workshop. They put you into networking workshops to role model, to understand and give you exactly examples. So I think that is your answer lies in development of all these, and that's why institutions like ALBE, etc., play a role. Where, how do you do critical thinking? How do you learn decision making? How do you learn interpersonal skills? But I want to tell you how I trained some of these skills to my people in the prisons, because all of them had come after a failure in some skills or the other, right? And you can imagine, why did they come to the prison? Why didn't others come? For the reason that something went wrong in any one of these seven. Their decision making went wrong, right? Their thinking went wrong somewhere. Then their empathy went wrong. Their coping skills with stress went wrong. Obviously, had they had these, they wouldn't have landed in Tihar. So what did we do? We started to go into the solution. And the solution was the mind. We realized, we obviously know, everything begins from the mind. I'm speaking as my mind is dictating me. I'm traveling as my mind is directing me. It's the thought. The day there's no thought, there is no action. You are just still. You're still. So I think what we started to do was, in that, we created programs which started to deal with their mind. And from the mind came the training in all these aspects of life skills. So your answers, your questions, you youngsters, your answers lying in these 10 core life skills. That's why your new education policy is now addressing core life skills training during schooling, during college education. So now, what's your question? Now, against this background, I would like to answer. So which question are you? I've given you an example, how I dealt with, let's say, managing 10,000 prisoners with 10,000 aberrations and crimes committed. How did I deal with them in one shot? By working on these 10 core skills. Somebody had a communication problem. Somebody had an empathy problem, right? Somebody had a behavioral issues problem. That's why they went wrong, and they were emotional, and they killed, or they were greedy, or they were tempted. So they had behavioral aberrations that landed them into trouble. So the only answer is to deal with these 10 core skills, which I've mentioned to you, is holistically. Because anywhere, wherever one goes a little wrong in this, has stress and problem. But dealing with these 10, I think come to the further questions, what therapy I gave them to deal with these 10 core skills, which was like making them ready to be released so that they don't come back. I think a subsequent question may reveal. Let me go to the next question.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for your answer.
Thank you, Ritu. What's your next question?
We now have Ms. Prashanti, who's eagerly waiting to ask the next question.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. So, ma'am, my question will be, Tihar jail to Tihar ashram, Any unforgettable incident which touched your heart in the 2 years of journey? And what is your advice to youngsters to transform and inspire others as a role model?
Well, there's one certainly unforgettable incident which has never happened in my life, had happened before and after. And I do remember this very clearly. When I decided to make the prison into a new no smoking zone, I decided to declare the prison of 10,000 prisoners into no smoking zone. No smoking allowed, because every second prisoner was smoking. And because of the smoking, there was a passive smoking happening. And tuberculosis was rampant in the prison. So most of my medical bill went into treatment of tuberculosis. And since they were locked up in barracks, it was very infectious because they could not get out of the barrack at night because of their locked up. Their barrack was opened only in the morning with the head count and nobody ran away. They had spitted inside. It was dirty inside. There was film inside. It was stinking inside. And it was spreading tuberculosis. It was mostly a lot day based on smoking. So we decided to conduct a survey inside the prison, saying how many would want smoking zone, smoking yes or no. And we did a survey. And the survey was also 50-50. 50% of the prisoners said, yes, madam, please ban the smoking. And 50% said, no, we want the smoking because that is an entertainment, an attraction. Now, which 50% do I go to? And I am a health keeper also. After all, health of the prisoners is important. So I had a meeting with my colleagues and superintendents and my DIG, Mr. Jaidev Sarangi and many others. I had a wonderful team. So we decided to take the plunge, saying we will ban smoking. And by the time the act had also come of banning in public places, and we said smoking banning in public places, prison is a public place. So therefore we should implement the law. So we had the law and we had the 50% on our side, but 50% prisoners were not on our side. So when we declared the prisons as no smoking zone, one prison of convicts rose in rebellion against it. And they threatened me that tonight, madam, you will see all of us hanging from the rooftops. Openly threatened me in my open house, which I used to have, because they just wouldn't get up. We had a prayer. We used to always have a prayer in the evening. And after the prayer, prisoners would return to the barracks. This evening, when we did the prayer, these convict prisoners, they were convict prisoners. They did not leave the place and said, we will not go inside. Aapne jo karna kar lo. Hum to aaj yahi marenge. And that you will see us hanging from the rooftops. And this was a decision which I took as a leader, and of course all of us took. I did not know what to do. At that moment, now when you ask me which is the moment I remember, I do remember it was winter days. And I saw my sweat falling from the sides. That means my head was sweating. I realized, I'm so observant of on my head, I realized there was sweat on my side. Because at that time, I didn't know how do I deal with these 200, 300 people who are just squatting on the floor, refusing to go, and it's sunset, and they need to go back, and there's a security lapse, and they all run away, or they start to strangle prison officers, what will happen? That moment I don't forget. Now, how I dealt with it can be a mystery. Has been written in my book. It's always possible. Do you want me to keep it as a mystery and you read the book, or should I tell you?
Sure, ma'am. We will read it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You don't want me to tell you?
Ma'am?
You don't want me to tell you? You want to read it?
No, ma'am. Either ways.
I like your answer. The way was simple. The way was simple. I waded into the crowd. And I said, Utho, chalo, chalo, raat ho gayi. Chalo, utho, chalo, utho. And I start to wade into and my staff followed me again. And they also start to pick push up these men, lifting them up and pushing them into the barracks, etc. Right? Can you believe it? We succeeded. We succeeded in pushing these men, big men, just because I dared to run into them. See, उठो, चलो, रन नहीं करते, बात करते, आपको नहीं बंद हो रही है, क्योंकि they were saying आपने तो हमारी सिगरेट तो महबूबा थी, हमारी महबूबा ले ली आपने. They used to call their cigarette a महबूबा. So, but we succeeded. But that night, no. Next 15 nights, we only slept inside the prison. We did not leave the prison. But then we did a lot of homework with these prisoners. We gave them saunf ka pani, we gave them sweet, all that, which takes them out of their withdrawal symptoms, because cigarette was also their addiction. So that's rest is the story, what happened, how we did it, which doctors helped me. It's all written in the book is a chapter, but I don't forget that incident.
Sure, ma'am. The power of decision, at that point of time, which you
now you see, all life skills are coming in.
Yeah, ma'am.
If you notice all the skills which I mentioned to you, they all were at play.
The decision.
Or what was at play? Critical thinking, problem solving, effective communication. What was my effective communication? It was not talking. I got into the crowd. To me, that was effective communication. But would it be written in the book that this is what you do? No. You have to see and feel the pulse of it, right? Decision making, and then interpersonal relationship skills, where I say, Utho, because I had been working with these people on a regular basis. So there was an interpersonal relationship with them, because I had been looking after them, making them read, write. So there was a hostility. There was no hostile relationship. So I used, then coping with my stress and emotions. How did I cope with it? How did I cope? I kept my cool. I kept my composure. It sweated on the side, but I went by my instinct. I went by my inner voice. What do I do? I didn't blame anybody. Say, why, or I run away, or I hit them by lathis. No, we used hands, hugging, pushing, and we worked. So what I'm trying to say, but here it's very important. It says, the same chapter says, self-awareness, self-esteem, and self-confidence are essential tools for understanding one's strengths and weaknesses. You have to inculcate self-awareness, you have to inculcate self-esteem, and you have to inculcate self-confidence, which I had all the three. Enough to deal with such a situation. So this is what is life skill about. It's a constant self-esteem, knowledge, skilling, working on self-confidence and self. It's a daily affair. It's not one day affair.
Practice.
It can start slipping. It can start increasing. It can remain the same. It all depends on how you spend your day. Each day, one day at a time. So I've now recalled you some of the most memorable, which I can't forget.
Yes, ma'am. You've also told us in one interview that those were the most fruitful years of your life. So
No. For me, every year has been a very fruitful year.
That's true, ma'am.
True, ma'am.
So we have a next question from Ms. Manvita from SMK Formula College.
Yeah, go
ahead, Manvita.
Go ahead, Manvita.
Okay, next one.
Manvita, you can go ahead with your question.
My next webinar is it?
Okay. I guess we have some issues with her, ma'am. So can I ask a question on her behalf?
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, ma'am. Time management is life management. How can we master this skill? And what is the secret of your time management?
Very simple. I'll give you an example. The day you start treating time as a bank account, would you waste money?
No, not at all.
The best part is that you get every day 24 rupees, or you get 24,000 rupees, or you get 2,400 rupees note. Would you burn them or invest them? If you had money in hand.
Invest them.
Invest them.
So is time. It's how you use it. Time is a bank account.
Correct, ma'am.
But in the bank account, just as bank account becomes a fixed deposit and it gives you interest, time well spent also gives you interest.
Interest.
If you've read,
Correct.
if you read if you've acted, if you lived well, you've left a good mood, you've left some skill in you, you're happy, you made friends, right? You've read,
Yes.
you've written, you've done something good. It's an investment for the next day. But why?
Correct.
Because it built your self-confidence. It's built your self-esteem. Isn't it? Isn't it? So the day you moment you start thinking and treating time as a bank account, just as you won't burn money, why would you waste time? You'll only invest it. So life is also how you've invested. I am today the way I spent my yesterday. And then, interestingly, this too is a fixed deposit of your skills, a fixed deposit of your attitudes, fixed deposit of your deeds. You've done good deeds, you are respected, loved, right? All that.
True.
So I think that's the way I would define time as another form of bank account.
True. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Thank you, ma'am.
And hope, Manvita, your question is answered. The next question is from Rukmini.
Namaskaram, ma'am. And first of all, I would like to wish everyone here happy birth anniversary of the Missile Man of India and happy World Student Day to everyone here. And my question is, ma'am, why many people, especially the youngsters, are suffering from the depression, where this depression didn't exist 20 years back in the world?
Because I think they're comparing themselves with others. They want to be somebody else.
Yes,
That's what's going wrong.
exactly.
They want to be like, they want to copy others. They want to have more. So when they are not valuing themselves, but all the time copying others, and why can't they be like others? And why can't they be that more beautiful, more money, more things, more name, more fame, more pictures in the papers, more awarded, and when they don't get it, so instead of being copying, instead of focusing on copying others, they do not inculcate confidence in themselves by doing the right things. So when you start, then you fall into a depression because you can't be like that, and then they can't come out of it. With the result, they can't come out of it, and they don't seek help, and then they take to intoxicants or they take to other bad habits to temporarily forget what they're suffering from, and that further takes them into depression. So it is when you don't be who you are, but you want to be who somebody else is. That's what causes depression.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thanks for your advice, ma'am.
So the next question is from Devika from SS Shasan Jain College. Go ahead, Devika. Yes, Devika, go ahead.
Good day, ma'am. A very happy day to you. Okay. Ma'am, my question is, how can the youth fulfill the Develop India 2020 vision of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam in the post-COVID era, keeping in view the uncertainty in the future?
Look, any nation to be a developed nation, the most important thing is it's a healthy nation. A sick nation cannot be a developed nation. And what does youth have? If you do SWOT analysis concerning the youth, what is its strength? It's its energy. The age on its side. It's not old, it's young. It's got the energy. Young in body. Now, whether it's fresh in mind is the real health of a body. But the fresh in mind, but old body cannot run or cannot work as much as possible is not a developed nation. It is an aging nation despite being young.
Yes.
So I think the best contribution youth can do is build on the physical energy it has and use it in the right way.
Yes.
Use its time the right way, educate itself, learn, improve in its attitudes, go back to learn all these skills, life skills. Learn the life skills I've already mentioned. If they learn these kind of life skills, they will be using their energy in the right way. But if they don't use this energy to learn the life skills early on and build on it, then the nation suffers. And remember, it's not anybody else first.
Yes.
It's you first. Everybody, me first. As young man or woman, me first. Which means what is before me? Before me is college. Before me is school. Before me is the playground. Before me is the work. Before me is the family. Before me are the friends. Before me is the nation. Before me is my society.
Yes, ma'am.
If I play my responsible roles in all these roles, I am an asset to the nation. But if I don't like studying, or if I'm rude to my parents, or I've not understood my responsibilities, then I'm a waste and I'm a liability. So every youth in India today is either an asset or a liability. Every youth must decide what it wants to be, an asset or a liability. And you are an asset already if you're born with good health. Whether you're in an area which doesn't have many opportunities or where it has, you can create your opportunities by your health, by a good health. Use of opportunities by a good health.
True, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, we have the next question from Manju from Sairam Institute.
Namaste, ma'am. It's a great honor talking to you, and I thank ALBE Academy for this wonderful opportunity. So, as Swami Vivekananda quotes, "They alone live who live for others." We feel that this quote is like very appropriate to you as you live for the country and the empowerment of others. So, I would like to know what made you to choose this as an idol. Can you share some of your experience?
Look, you live, you know what? I think we must first live for ourselves. Because if we don't look after ourselves, how will we be able to serve others? But we look after ourselves for others. But we first must live ourselves. If I'm healthy, only then I can serve you. If I'm educated, only then can I earn for you. Or I can share something for you. So I think I first must learn to live for myself. But it's not selfish living. It's not greedy living. It is living to be of value to myself, adding value to myself so it can add value to society. I think Swami presumes that I will first be strong myself. That's why he said, football is nearer to you than the ground. What does it mean? It means go become healthily fit, become physically fit. Why did he say, before you go to the temple, go to the football ground? Because he wanted robust, healthy youth. That means a robust, healthy youth could serve the community and the nation by dint of energy.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for joining us, ma'am, amidst your busy schedule. Thank you for replying us and for joining us, ma'am. I would like to hand over the session to Sangeeta to close the session with a word of.
Thank you, ma'am. It has indeed been our pleasure to thank Dr. Kiran Bedi, the Lieutenant Governor of Puducherry, for her valuable time and for giving us such valuable insights from your life that we would cherish and take it for. Thank you, ma'am. We also thank the Rajnivas team for supporting us through the process. Thank you to one and all who have tuned in. It has been a great. Thank you so much, ma'am. Good evening to all. Great. Thank you, ma'am.
I want to thank you too and congratulate you for doing the right thing, because life skill is the key for any youth. Earlier, the better. And it's a whole process. Once you get into the habit of working on your skills, you keep working for the rest of your life and you stay in command and control. And what you are saying, you are ahead of your time. It's exactly what this new education policy is all about today.
Yeah, ma'am.
Good luck.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.